Hi everyone, this is Eldad Amara with my channel Eyes Wide Shut. This video is entitled Things That You Need to Know About 5G Technology. Now, during 2020, there's a lot of 5G technology which was being put up everywhere around the UK. Now, a lot of the times this technology was put up at night time when people were asleep. Why were they doing this at night and not during the daylight hours? Okay, and apparently the military had something to do with these 5G technology. This 5G apparatus has been put up. Now in Wuhan, as I was saying, in China, apparently this was supposed to be the first place that this was started off. Now 5G technology cannot operate by long waves. It operates in very short waves, millimeter waves. That means that wherever this technology is, it needs to be close to its source, okay? Close to medical centers, close to schools, close to universities, because it only carries a very short wave frequencies. Now, some people are saying that this 5G technology is linked to things such as cancer, okay, and other things which I'm going to come back to in a minute. Now, let me tell you this also. 5G technology operates on a very similar frequency to microwaves. If you know anything about microwave ovens cook food inside out. It cooks food inside out, which is opposite to what nature has intended. With nature, things are cooked from the outside in. From the outside in. When you cook things by a natural flame, it cooks from the outside inwardly. But with microwaves, it operates from cooking food from the inside out, which is totally the opposite to what nature has intended. You see, the devil and these are uppers. They've created a system where everything, excuse me, everything is upside down. This is how the devil operates. You got the organic, the inorganic. The inorganic are the Luciferians. They trying to create this synthetic world for us to live in. Now, in order to protect yourself against 5G technology, you need to do certain things, such as having quartz crystals, especially pyramid-shaped quartz crystals, which you can buy from certain stores, okay? Also, orgonite, which is a very powerful crystal, also will protect you against this 5G radiation, the 5G technology. You also have shungite crystals. Now, I've got some shungite crystals. I also have some quartz as well. And I make sure that I keep these things very close to where my computers are and where my phones are, okay? To protect myself from the frequencies of the 5G towers. Now, short waves, as I was saying, the 5G technology operates off of very short frequency. Now, apparently it can't go through things like trees. It cannot go through trees. So what they have to do is either cut the trees down or cut the trees back in order for this thing to be able to operate properly, for it to be able to function properly. You see, you have nature, which is natural, and then you have the inorganic, okay, the synthetic, and man, and the type of man is trying to move us towards this synthetic world. 5G does not like nature. 5G cannot live in nature. It cannot operate properly in nature. It cannot take the natural light and frequencies of the sun. Trust what I'm telling you. It cannot take the natural frequencies and the lights of the sun and the sun's rays and the sun's frequency. During 2020, they tried to keep us indoors whilst this technology was being rolled out. Why were they trying to keep us indoors and trying to force some of us to take this thing in our arm. Why was that? They didn't want us going outside. They didn't want us getting the sunlight. They didn't want us getting that natural sunlight, which helps our immune system and gives us vitamin D. Vitamin D helps to protect our natural immune system. And they didn't want us going outside. And this is one of the reasons, because they didn't want us having the natural protection from the sun's energy, right? Getting that vitamin D. And vitamin D also stops us from getting depressed. It's very important, people, for us to go outside and to try and vibrate with nature. Those inorganic ones don't want us to go outside, and what they're starting to do now is to spray the skies with a certain chemical. People call this chemtrails. They're trying to block out the sunlight. And they also have the 5G technology. It's funny how these two things go hand in hand. 5G technology and also this chemtrail that they're spraying in the air, these heavy metal chemicals. They're trying to block out the sunlight. They're trying to block out the vitamin D, which we need in order to protect our immune system. Now, let me tell you, to protect yourself, you should be doing things such as getting out into nature and getting that vitamin D, because it's very important for our immune system. We should be also eating things that nature has provided for us, natural things, not this synthetic food and this GMO stuff. You need to be eating natural foods which have been provided by nature, not this GM artificial crap. Now, we have electric bodies. We have electric bodies, so we need electric food. We need electric food. That is food that is alkaline as opposed to acidic. We need food that is alkaline opposed to what's acidic. Now, there's a guy called Dr. Sebi. He's no longer with us. He died in 2016. But let me ask you this. He died apparently mysteriously. Anytime people try and help other people and they come across certain cures for certain things, next thing they're wiped out. They're taken out of the system. Alkaline foods is very important for us. You see, you have a pH scale, which goes from 0 to 14. And anything from 7 going downwards is acidic. Anything from 8 going upwards is alkaline. So it's very important that we have alkaline diets, because that helps to protect us from things such as cancer, protects us from things such as arthritis, and protects us from other illnesses. You see, this disease is nothing but dis-ease. That's what disease means, dis-ease in our system. Now, Dr. Sebi, okay, he was a black, what I would say, herbalist and nutritionist. And these are some of the foods that he said that we should be eating, okay? This is only just smacks, only just small smacks of some of the foods that we should be eating. Right, so foods such as coyote, bell peppers, cucumbers, kale, lettuce, okra, onions, squash, turnips, right, greens, eggplant, zucchini, right, fruits such as berries, apples, bananas, dates, figs, grapes, limes, mangoes, melons, papayas, plums, tamarind, and herbs such as basil, bay leaf, cayenne, cloves, sea salt, and thyme. go do your research on Dr. Sebi and what he said about alkaline diets. We need to get out. We need to get in that sun. And we need to protect our immune system. What else should we be doing? As I was saying earlier on, we need to get crystals. Crystals help to protect us from the negative energy of these 5G towers and this thing that they're spraying from up in the sky. Some people don't believe in chemtrails. I'm telling you, it is a real concept. It is true. They're spraying the sky, and not only just spraying the sky to block out the sun, but it's also affecting the ground and the foods that we're eating. Okay? It's also affecting the ground and the food that we're eating. They don't want us to grow our own foods. They want us to become dependent on them by going to their supermarkets and to their stores, right? They don't want us to be self-sufficient. Number 4, you need love over fear. You see, too often we sit and we watch television, we watch the news, and the news is usually quite negative, right? Talking about inflation, talking about job loss, talking about wars, talking about famine, talking about earthquakes, and all of those kinds of things. We need to get away from our TV sets and get away from certain things that we watch on social media, because it's locking down our frequency. And fear is the lowest vibration, it's the lowest frequency that you can get to. Okay? Now, those are uppers, them Luciferians, them Satanists, they want to keep us down on this third dimensional plane, not to raise up to our higher self. Now, let me show you this chart. It's a frequency chart. Okay? Emotional frequency chart. I'll show you this in a couple of other videos in the past. Look at it. Emotional frequency chart. Okay? Emotional frequency chart. Our bodies operate by frequency. Okay? And we have different frequencies. Frequencies are measured in hertz. And shame is only a 20 hertz frequency. Hertz are measured by waves, peak to peak. And this shame only functions on a 20 hertz frequency. I'm not going to read through all of them. Then you have apathy, which operates on a 50 hertz frequency. Fear, which is one of the lowest vibrations. Some say it's the lowest vibration, and this operates on 100 hertz frequency. What we should be trying to do is to raise our vibration up and move into things such as acceptance, which is 350 hertz. Then love. Love is a very powerful frequency, right? This is what we should be trying to move up to, love. Okay? Love. Instead of hate and instead of fear, like the TV and the media tries to get us to do, hate each other and to live in fear. Right? Peace, 600 hertz frequency. And enlightenment, 700 hertz frequency and more. 700 hertz frequency and more. We should be trying to raise to our higher self, trying to raise a higher vibration. This is Eldad Amara with this first video. Over and out.